doing pretty well, but he also struggled a little bit on some of this seed. So we're gonna see what happens and see if anything is different as both of these guys start with Flash this time around.
And Siberian Bull chooses this. As many of the guys probably don't know, but in the new randomizer version, you can traits. We have base, roll, Mega Man, and
Proto Man.
Proto Man, yeah, exactly. And I see Siberian chooses Proto for this one. And straight off the bat, we have drills here, and a property of the drills, which is really strange. On some stages, they can blend with the background, and it can be hardly visible. It can happen to many stages. They're very treacherous.
So once again, as usual, whenever they start on these particular stages, Flash doesn't really require items. Hopefully we don't have a treacherous area here. They can go for... Siberian Bull gets knocked down, so yeah, they're not going to get the E-Tank this time around.
Yeah, this toothpaste is gonna deny them the satisfaction of getting the E-Tank. It's fine, it's the first stage, so it's fine. With or without E-Tank, if the boss is hard, it's gonna be hard. There's nothing you can do. It's metal, though. Dark metal, man. Dark Souls metal.
So there shouldn't be too much problem. Well, then again, I can't really see the health.
Yeah, I can see the health bar. Vin is having some issues. Fine. It was probably weak because I didn't count the shots, but it was probably weak. And they got him 3 straight of them. Choosing quick as a second stage, as is tradition. Choosing quick, you can get a free, like we said, free life and free tank here. Make sure your run goes healthy and everything's...
Yeah, this is probably a much easier to get E-Tank as opposed to, say, Flashman, depending on the enemy stats. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this stage goes out in terms of health management, routing, you know, so on and so forth. It's the usual scenarios.
Yeah, exactly. Health management is... like, you seen on the start of the stage, Siberian Bull decided to take the damage from the Crusher, and Vin just waited it out. It's a thing that runners will decide to take damage to go faster or not. It's a personal thing, and it's a decision that will affect their gameplay later on in the stage.
Yeah, as you can see, we already got some comparisons with each strats. While Vin is waiting for the Crushers to rise and fall, Siberian Bull decided to use a weapon to see if it's weak for the Crushers and got through it really fast with the quick boomerang.
Yeah, Vin, keeping his previous strat from race 1, decides to stick with the Buster more, which I'm not sure is very, I don't know, progressive for now, because if you see an immune enemy and it's slowing you down, it's better to take that second and switch and try the weapon. Like, I'm not a big fan, but if it's slowing you down, why not? Get rid of the enemy.
Well, we got Quick Man and Quick Room, and it looks like he's very susceptible to the quick boomerangs. A pretty quick fight out Siberian Bull's in. We're gonna see how Vin's able to take care of Quick Man in his fight.
And Quick being weak to Quick, ironically. Let's see how Vin will probably decide to stick with Buster or no. Nice, he switches off. It deals a little bit more damage, yeah.
So we've got Siberian Bull going with Metal Man stage, and we're going to see Vin go to Bubble, so we got a little bit of divergence this time around. Right now, it seems like Metal Man stage seems to be pretty lenient, not many trolling enemies around, so he pretty much got a decent straight shot. Vin, on the other hand, is dealing with seafood issues.
Yeah, crabs and shrimps, that means they're gonna be at the end of the stage. This is not a thing that you want to see at the start of Bubble. This can be really treacherous at the end. The middle of the stage will always consist some kind of mini enemies that you can't avoid. You'll get a damage boost here and there, but the end is always really important.
Oh, hey, we got space monkeys. This stretch for Metal Man is basically free now.
As we love to say, the dream is real. Like space monkey is usually one of the best spawns you can get. Like I would love to say like bull, but why not? Why not?
Siberian Bull accidentally taking that E-Tank, so kind of unfortunate, but he could probably get more E-Tanks later on.
Never not the tanking. It happens.
God says the Buster South weak heat, so this shouldn't pose too much trouble. Not to mention he's not being a slow burn this time around.
It looks like a very typical heat with weakness to the Buster, and that's what I was talking about. The last section. The last section will always consist the first section enemies, and yeah, crabs are annoying. Well, I know you know better, Keith.
I definitely know.
Oh dear.
But we got Siberian Bull following suit, joining Vin in Bubble Man stage, keeping in mind that Siberian Bull is the Robot Master up on Vin.
Yeah, Mega Cow, they're both zipless runners. You won't see any zips. And that's pretty typical. And the things that amazes me still is Vin still uses the Buster more, which is not usually a bad thing, but when you're having issues, like crabs and trolley enemies, it's the usual cases you want to search for something.
Now, I think for right now, Buster will be fine. It's more about being patient, especially dealing with enemies that can spawn infinitely and in awkward positions. There's no one to be patient and just waiting for the time to actually move, rather than feel like being in a rush and wind up dying as a consequence.
Yeah, that's always a big factor in speedrunning, patience.
I mean, damage boosting is an option, but you can only try to damage boost so much.
Yeah, and it's all, most of the time it's really good. Vin decides to go the quick route with Boomerang with Bubble, and it works out, and he kills Bubble with literally no issues.
It'll be fun that Siberian Bull got item 2 from Metal Man stage, as he uses it to soar over the final stretch, having no issues or making the area no issue at all.
Well, that definitely shows who is in the lead right now, but Vanilla Crushers on Metal, I didn't see those two. Well, it's a pretty calm Metal. Okay, I will shut up now. Well, Ven, thanks for making me look like this. And Siberian Bull decides to choose air, early air. Not so early, but still. Air is air.
We got our favorite leg Fabians clustering up Airman stage.
Yeah, this mini frogs can cause lots of lag. Seems pretty calm for now. Yeah, 3 types of enemies for now, which aren't very, let's say, dangerous.
Been trying to overcome Metal Man stage after his unfortunate death that he sustained earlier, trying to get himself together, but since we know that there are space monkeys in this final Metal Man stretch, he should have no issue going straight to Metal Man's boss room, where he's gonna fight Heat Man.
Oh, bless you. By the way, and I think Ven doesn't have item 2 here. Yeah, but since they're space monkeys, you don't need.
No, but you get item 2 from this stage.
Oh, that's why I'm messing up. Yeah, okay. And we have chickens at the second part of here.
Well, this is going to be an interesting scenario. This is not the kind of enemy you want to see here. And Siberian Bull wisely decides to use item 2 so he can try to mitigate, well, it was wise at first.
Yeah. Let's not fall down on a chicken. Okay, this is fine. Oh yeah, smart decision. 3-shot chicken. This is fine. This is fine. You can make it through, I believe. Do not Do not do this to me, Siberian. Please, thank you.
You decide to take the damage boost in order to make that final jump and make it safe. Meanwhile, we're about to see what's in air room right about now.
And Vin with some very skillful dodges defeats Heat, while Siberian Bull fights a Buster Weak Flash, which was fast, but being Buster Weak makes him like a little bit easier since he's not jumping high, really high.
Vin opted to go to Heatman stage while Siberian Bull goes to Wood. Heatman stage can be really nasty, but we're gonna see what. Well, we got Metroids incoming.
Oh yeah, Siberian Bull chooses Wood, which, as you expect, is full of critters and things from the forest. Birds, rabbits, and yeah. Crushers are not exactly things from the forest, but they work.
Well, of course, Crushers are. They're like little extended thorns from the tree branch.
And they blend so well here. Just a thing to note.
Vin using Leaf Shield to try to one-shot these Metroids. Pretty smart decision, but he still got to make it through. He's just so close to the halfway point.
And it's a reverse Leaf Shield horizontally. I don't know about vertically, but horizontally for sure. Which makes it infinitely more difficult to use.
Siberian Bull make it to the halfway point of One Man stage, going to the top of the treehouse to see what we're gonna have here. And right now we got a lot of worms. Gonna be dealing with a little two-pace action here.
And being immune to metal, that doesn't help much. What to use, what to use. Leaf Shield.
And it looks like we got some shrimp grilling in the oven here in Heatman stage, as they're all over the place and take out Vin.
He was trying to use a very typical zipless tactic, like you can use the item 2 here as an item 1, just creating a platform and doesn't consume ammo because it disappeared instantly, because he's hitting the wall. But the shrimps, they're relentless. They aren't here in the vanilla and they can cause big issues. While Siberian Bull at the last stretch of wood decides to use another zipless stack, using the item 2 to bypass the last section of wood.
Vin recovering from his heat death very well, getting to the point with the Yoku blocks where he uses item 2, which we'll be expecting. No one will like to actually willingly do the item 2s unless they have to.
And we have Lemon Man here. Lemon Man, not particularly weak to the Buster, and he's low on life. Okay, makes it through, 2 HP. Sometimes I get really worried when they go extremely endanger themselves on these boss fights.
The greed is real.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we see Airman and Heatman stage blowing a little bit of hot air in his face, but Vin ain't having any of it and dispatches Airman pretty handily. Looks like Siberian Bull and Vin decide to switch positions. Siberian Bull taking on Heatman stage while Vin is taking care of Wood.
I'm taking deep breaths on each one of these jumps. These Metroids, so tricky sometimes on these sections. They can kill you. And Siberian Bull makes it no problem with only the Buster, I think.
Siberian Bull is about to make his way down to the oven, see what the shrimps are cooking, while Vin is about to go take care of the hot dogs in a moment. Got a nice food-filled section between our two runners.
Yeah. Okay. Siberian Bull seems to have found his way with pulse buffers. The thing about pulse buffers, they will save your life. Not so much in Mega Man 1, but in Mega Man 2, they will save your life. And it's a common thing that's gonna get abused and used to kinda help the runners out, because yeah, it's needed. And Siberian Bull testing the walls, trying to find the weakness for later use. Obviously doesn't find it, but eliminates a couple of the weapons that can be the weakness.
Well, he tried Bubble. We can't be 100% sure to say that Bubble is or is not the for the wall.
Yeah.
Bubble is just so awkward to find wall weakness for because their hit detection with the walls is so finicky.
Yeah, I didn't see that. If the wall flashed, the bubble just disappears. It's so weird. You have to be so close to the wall. Bubble is one of those weaknesses to the walls that you really don't want to have. It can trick you, and yeah, it feels bad. Very low life on Siberian Bull.
And he has no E-tanks.
Oof. You have to pray on RNG now. Okay, this is fun, not fun. Yeah, the thing about Airman is, if he wants you dead, you will die, trust me. So, yeah, if he wants you to survive, he will give you the best burn. If he doesn't want you, if he wants you dead, you will die.
Yeah, it never helps when the tornadoes airman fires are completely random and how many times he throws them. But Siberian Bull does find Bubble as a pretty strong weakness, so airman got taken out pretty fast.
At the same rate like Vin completes wood, and Siberian Bull goes to crash, and Vin following suit.
Crash is not looking very promising right now.
Yeah, rabbits on the climbing sections is not the thing you want to see, and they're not one-shot rabbits too. It's gonna be tough, but I guess if Metal Blade works, why not?
Yeah, they might have the weapons to survive this, and yes, they do.
Nice.
So there should be any issues in the moving platform sections. To note, when we were talking about the rabbits in the very first screen of Crashman stage, well, you just saw what happened in Siberian Bull's case. The rabbits are very notorious for blocking ladders in this section. So are enemies like Shrimp. Some springy enemies can be notorious for that as well. The deal is, if you don't have a weapon that can defeat these enemies, more than likely you are going to be blocked almost permanently, and you need to either exit a stage or maybe find a weapon to get by it all. It's not a fun scenario to deal with in the randomizer.
Okay, I was almost worried for a second, but Vin also has metal. Decides to go the leaf route. Finds himself. He's definitely not used to these kind of situations. It's really tough for a person that's not used to these spawns to kind of adapt on the fly, let's say. Like, as you can see, he's trying to work that out, and it's working out for him. I'm happy that he's like triggering his brain.
Yeah, Leaf Shield isn't bad. It's just a little more tedious because it's inverted vertically. But as long as it works and he's able to get through, making himself free to climb the ladder, it's all worth it.
Yeah, if you're not locked into, like, let's say it in an RPG way, if you're not in stun lock, because this may happen if you don't have vertical weapons, it's sometimes really hard. Meanwhile, Siberian on the last stretch of Clash, picking up that bonus E-tank, he doesn't have any, so it's always good. And the last Joe army remains here until he reaches the door.
Had to put the victory marker for Siberian Bull. It wasn't added from the first race. But yeah, we have been finding a lot of vanilla bosses in their rooms this seed.
This is a very fast Clash, and it's not dumb too. It's not dumb. It's a very aggressive one. It doesn't give his back. It runs towards you. It jumps towards you. This Crash knows what's going on.
Siberian Bull digs for weaknesses, and he finds that's a pretty suitable weakness.
Yeah, heat works. and poof, it's gone. Good job from Siberian though, finding all these weaknesses. Dying here and there, but whatever works. He still has 1 life, and going through Whitey's at 20, I guess 20 minutes. Yeah.
Anyway, we got the coloring alarm. Rodney signaling the coloring alarm. So you know what time that is. Chat, it's time to guess the color of the Mega Dragon. And as always, for extra credit, you can guess that weakness as well. Prodigy, if you don't mind doing the honors.
Sure. This year I'm gonna go all red. I think I tried this a couple of times. A red dragon with tried the air last. Let's be nasty. I see this wood weapon is really bad. Let's be wood. Why not? Let's play with their brains though. What's your choice though?
We're gonna get ourselves, let's see. Let's do a gray dragon. Gotta do my monochrome dragon somewhere around the line. And we're gonna have him. We're gonna be a little bit kinder this time around. He's gonna be weak to Buster.
Oh, Buster, fine. It's always good when it's weak to Buster. You get that happy vibe. I know it's it's probably not the best thing like to be in a race, but it's always good for the runners to be calm. It's Buster.
So we got Vin traversing almost at the halfway point of Airman stage. He does not know what's about to come his way because once he's done with this path, he's gonna have to deal with the chickens afterwards. So we're gonna see how he's able to deal with this situation here.
Yeah, 3-shot chickens, not the best thing you want in here. If he has item 2 though, I didn't notice him using item 2 on at all. Let's see, no, he's not gonna use it. He's gonna take, oh, darn, I guess. Well, that's a game over. That's your air stage for you guys. Really punishing.
Where we got Siberian Bull coming up to the Mega Dragon. We want to see what kind of color he's gonna be sporting for us today.
Green. It's kinda green.
That is a minty green bubblegum dragon.
Bubble, yeah, that's a bubble. It's weak? Yeah, it's weak to the metal, yeah. Nice gamble. Decides to stick with metal, not to even try Buster.
Yeah, but it looks like it might be at the cost of weapon consumption because his metal seems to become really low as a result.
Yep, half metal and yeah, he's gonna refill that or sooner or later. Oh, he refilled it. No. Oh, he refilled it. I was thinking he refills his items. No, he refilled metal straight off the bat when he entered Whitey. And my guess is he will just test the walls now. The remainder of the while Ven is still struggling with these. Okay, finds air to be effective against the chicken.
Pretty unorthodox weakness because of the simple fact that you cannot fire another air shooter as long as the tornado is still on the screen, so you can't fast fire these.
Yeah, assume the longer they stay on screen, the worse it is. And meanwhile, siberianbull9 found Crash Bomb to work on the walls. Pretty vanilla, but whatever works. They had lingering explosion, which is always good.
Vin taking an unfortunate fall just a few screens before making it to the boss door, and taking another death right at a few screens after the midpoint. Airman, the second half is not doing Vin any favors.
Well, as Gandalf says, not so hasty. Don't be so hasty. Have patience. Patience is the way of the warrior. That's how you beat Ninja Gaiden, kids, with patience.
Siberian Bull about to face Pico Pico, checking Buster and Leash Shield. It looks like heat was a weakness as well, but it looked like it'd be 2-shot, but air is much more efficient.
Yeah, it seems to be one-on-one be out of air by the time he's beaten Pico. Ooh, this double shot though. That's a
Whether on
very
purpose or on accident, that was still swag.
yeah, that was really sick. Guess having slow air is helpful sometimes.
Siberian Bull's just trying to get those last few shots in, and he does get those in, defeating Pika Pika and on his way to Wily 3. Been finding Leaf Shield for Flash, at least for Assault's weakness, and now he's out of 8 Rebels on his way to Wily 1.
It's really a neat thing. If your leaf shield is reversed, you can run away from Flash while spamming the leaf shield. Because it's reversed, it's always gonna go in Flash direction. You can run away and you will die at the same time. It's so fun doing this. Actually fun seeing this live. I think I've seen it one time only.
Dealing with rabbits in Dr. Wally's toxic waste dump. While Vin begins his assault on Wily 1 in earnest.
Yeah, all seems to be fine for now. They should pick up... No, they should be calm. I think they should be calm. Like, Siberian Bull, taking it slow, and Vin was thinking about using item 2 there, but decides not to. Probably because these Metroids probably gave up because of these.
Siberian Bull is making his way to his Gust tank. It's not weak to the Buster. Unfortunately, it's not weak to air. It's definitely weak to heat, though.
Oh, but that took away almost all of his ammo. That means more refilling. Yeah, this heat seems to consume a lot of ammo, which means it deals a lot of damage. It's not a bad thing in particular.
Wisely taking the time to refill his eat energy, not knowing the weaknesses for the remaining bosses. Having any kind of energy that is low for any weapon is extremely dangerous. We don't want to get into a situation where we can't refill our recommended weaknesses because our energy was too low.
Yeah, energy management is on some seeds can be really a thing that you need to control. You need to control your energy, otherwise you're gonna have issues. We know the crash is the weakness to the walls. That means you'll probably need to keep an eye on that in the future as well.
Vin on his way to fight the Mega Dragon. We know that Metal Blade is one weakness, but right now I'm worried about Vin's balance. Vin tends to be really unstable on the 3 blocks.
Oh, found heat.
But he needs to stay on!
Oh, fine. Makes it through. And we see that Wily 4 has for me personally, one of the worst enemies in this section. The Chinky Makers, they throw away an arc projectile, fire projectile, that can knock you off easily, really easily. And on top of that, to top all this madness, they create tons of lag.
Yeah, Chinky Makers is easily one of the most annoying enemies to fight in here because of all the stuff you said, and there's...
Yes, that will happen.
There's your proof of concept right there, folks.
No, please no. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Taking all the damage, making sure he lives. We have E-tanks, right? Yep, we have 2. Let's use one.
I still would rather take the actual Chinky shot, the little fire tackle shot, rather than taking the Chinky Maker body hit instead. Less damage, that way you still get the same desired result.
Yeah, body hits in general, in Mega Man games, it's very typical that body hits will do a lot of damage. It doesn't matter, most of the bosses will do tremendous body hits in Mega Man 2.
Siberian Bull trying to find the god weaknesses again. Looks like he can't find it and just decides to. That was a weird crash bomb.
Oh, seems that it doesn't do much damage, or sometimes the explosion doesn't do a lot of damage. Yeah.
I almost want to say, wonder if lag has anything to do with it. We find Buster has a booby weakness.
Maybe it's lag related. But Buster being the weakness to the booby, that's a good thing. It means less ammo usage, so the only thing he must worry about now is Clash, which doesn't take a lot of ammo. So it's all fine ammo. Meanwhile, Vin goes to Picos. And I really didn't notice what weakness was. Oh, it was here. Yeah, it was here.
Vince should be much happier with this one, but he's still gotta watch his health. We don't need him dying and set himself even further back.
You gotta play this like vanilla. You gotta oh my. You gotta move. Don't tilt. This is fine. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, about to say, please don't try to be a hero. Choose the E-Tank. Try to live.
Yeah. With big power comes great responsibility. Freaking Spider-Man movies. They ruined me.
Ben successfully takes out our toasters, and he's on his way to Wally 3. So Vin is actually having much better luck with this seed than the last, but he's still falling quite behind Siberian Bull.
Yeah, I almost want to say that it's on Siberian this time again, but I don't want to be hasty. That again, there's some problems that the machine can cause. And these robos, especially this air that we have here.
Siberian Bull is closing on halfway done with the Robot Masters, while Vin, once he completes his Spike Fall, should be on his way to Guts Tank very shortly. We know that heat is a weakness for the Guts Tank, but will he find it, or will he find another weakness?
Did you see that Met that was walking? In YD3 for no reason and was...
Yeah, I don't know why that seemed to happen. It always happens in Wally 3 when there's a Met in there.
That Met takes the property of the fish.
Metal was the second weakness for the Guts Tank.
Nice. So that Met takes the property of the fish and becomes immune. And starts doing stuff for no reason.
Siberian Bull on his final Robot Master, Bubble Man. One more Robot Master to see if we're still gonna get our randomizer usual to see if the Wild Machine is Buster Week.
Yeah, contrary to my beliefs, these refights cause no issues to Siberian. Oh, he's fine. Let's see what the machine is. Please don't. Okay.
Oh my goodness, it's a friggin' miracle.
Yeah.
So here's the situation we have now. Because the Buster is an immunity for the Wild Machine, Siberian Bull is gonna have to search for weaknesses. There are 3 weaknesses for each phase, but between weaknesses, one of those weaknesses will be locked. So one weakness might not be the same for both phases.
He found Leaf but switched to Bubble, and Bubble stayed as a weakness for the second phase, which is convenient, to be honest, because Bubble didn't ask for a lot of ammo, was a pretty good arc, and deals with the machine with no issues. So final stretch for Siberian. Final Victory Road?
Victory Road!
Yeah. Decides to refill a bit here and there. There are some weapons that use a lot of energy, so it's alright.
Been trying to make sense of the ladders in Wally 4. Now he's on his way to discover a not so friendly enemy set in the moving platform areas.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm really curious. is gonna go the leaf or no. Takes the typical leaf boost from vanilla. That's fine for this game.
All right, Alien, show us what you got. What is your weakness?
Again, the second pager doesn't. Oh, it works. It's metal. No, it's
that's
just a sound effect.
We got baited by the sound effects, Prodigy.
Yeah. Is it reverse sleeve? Nope. It's the
Process
last
of
thing.
elimination gives us quick boomerang as the weakness.
That's a very good, but don't get hit. Both of the runners died at the same time, actually. Vin died on Wily 4 while Siberian got hit by the alien. His HP wasn't enough because fishing and getting hit, like, fishing takes time and you'll get hit. Let's be honest.
Finn taking a nasty pot shot from the chain key. That's why these techie makers are really treacherous in this section. Especially on this first climb, if you take a hit while climbing down the ladders, you will not recover on time to re-grab the ladder. You're taking a very hard drop into the spike fall.
You can recover if you press pause on next screen. That's a secret. Don't tell it to anyone. When you transition to the next screen, you have to pause.
But can you not pause while you're taking damage?
Oh, if you're taking damage on the upper screen, when you go down, you can pause. Nevertheless, GG's to Siberian Bull, which finishes cleanly this time with 3654 official SRO.
Yeah, and Megavin also and opts to forfeit. But still, GG's for Vin. He definitely improved from the last seed, getting further than he did last time, but the seed was just a little much for him, and Siberian Bull was able to handle it just a little better. GG's to both our competitors anyway.
Yeah, that's hard thing. Like, I can understand forfeiting. It's a runner thing. If you decide to not continue, not put yourself through this, it's fine. Meanwhile, we have Siberian Bull here. Hey, how is it going? Can you hear us?
Might help if I unmute my mic. That first seed was a nightmare.
Oh, okay. I wasn't gonna go there, but how did you fare on both of these? What do you think?
Well, the second one went much better, but that first one, where to start? First, I had to use the Kobe Bryant bubbles to take down Pico because the crash wasn't a good option and the heat wasn't a good option because those were also the weaknesses. And that was a very laggy first section of Airman stage.
Very PG-18 section, I understand. The second seat, you have any thoughts?
I consumed an E-tank when I was going to Metal Man's room.
Yeah, we saw that.
And I hated that. I hated that so much.
Never not E-tanking.
By the way, we do have Vin in the call right now. GG's to you, Vin, for trying to endure the season that you were given.
Man. Oof. Yeah.
Hey, GG's to you, man.
Yeah, it's definitely not like vanilla at all.
No, it changes and plays with your muscle memory in a big way.
Yeah, man. Way. I got trolled a couple times. You guys had to have seen it where I died. And I was it was in the robos a bunch, man. It was just.
What do you think about Seed 1, Seed 2 then? Like, any thoughts about the seeds, like, in particular?
The first seed, the E-Tank and Flashman, was really easy to get to, and the second seed, it was impossible. So, if you went Flash first, generally what I do, I try to go, like, Flash, Quick, Metal, Bubble first, because they have, like, what I figure the least amount of things that would kill me. Even though I died in Bubble Man a couple times.
Yeah, those crabs were a bit of a surprise in that second seed. I almost died both times when I was going over gap.
Yeah, one of them actually got me. he spawned low, and it was as I was jumping into him. There was nothing I could do.
And Metroids will now and forever always be my mortal enemy.
Yeah, you know, when I'm getting surrounded by stuff, I will say this about the randomizer. I've noticed if you equip quick boomerang and just go ham, it usually just eradicates everything in front.
As long as it doesn't tink, but it definitely was in that case. I ended up using a combination of that and Flash to get through that first section of Airman stage.
I don't think I used Time Stopper at all. I really didn't swap from Buster very much on the first seed at all.
See,
I was really curious why, because you're both zipless runners. That means what triggers me in vanilla is zipless runners use item 2 more and Metal Blade more. Here what it means is you search for an item that's good, like something like the Metal Blade that's overpowered, and use it here. What was your thoughts, Vin? This
That's what I did with
an item or something.
Yeah, on the second seed, I was like, I have to not go Buster only because it's not working. So I switched to quick boomerang when I got it. Like I said, it just eradicated everything once I got it.
Yeah, that second seed, quick boomerang, was a good go-to. Because, like Prodigy says, I kind of run zipless more than anything. I kind of sit in page 2 a lot. So in that first seed, I was actually using Crash a whole lot more than anything else.
Yeah. And the thing is about the randomizer, it's if you're running like a if you're used to zipless, is you find something really great and you use it more than any other weapon. You have your ups and downs, both of you. Creed, do you want to ask them something in particular? Something that
well, honestly, for Vin, you haven't been messing around with the randomizer that much, if I'm not mistaken, right?
This is literally the third time I have played the randomizer. Well, yeah, tonight's the third time I've ever played.
So within, I'm probably sure you probably can't form an opinion that much doing so little randomizer seeds, but what's your initial thought on going through the randomizer in such a fashion?
Oh, well, like I said at first, I try to go through stages that like I could do with the Buster and zipless. So like quick, flash, metal, and bubble. Those are the first 4 always. And then depending on what I get, is where I go next. If I get item 3 and item 1, I'm going to Crash Man I immediately because I can do the climb fast. Which might not that might not matter in a randomizer. I don't know. You know, there are different strats for rando.
No, makes perfect sense. We usually go to the Clash when we have more items because it's a trolley stage, you know. It has a lot of enemies and stuff, but it makes perfect sense you're routing like item 1 and 3 usually Clash. Yeah.
I'm just glad that item 2 wasn't locked behind Heatman stage ever because I actually don't know the Yogi blocks. So that would have been fun.
All right, if you don't have anything else to mention, do SpeedRun, do you have any final words you want to say to the folks at SpeedGaming or anything of the like?
Just thanks for having me, and thanks to DuckFist for making this, and thanks for you guys and Charlie for getting it together.
I wish I could run more, but right now I'm going to have to sit in the grandstands and do more commentary at this point.
Yeah, SpeedRun, this is your last match of the group, so you can sit back and relax for the time being. Meanwhile, Vin, you got a couple of more matches that you got to go through in Group A.
Yeah, I'm going to get bodied. One of them's against you, I think.
Well, that's not necessarily
bodied. I'm gonna get bodied.
The randomizer can give and the randomizer can take it away.
That's
so
right.
I'm not going to guarantee anything.
Yeah. Well, like I said, thanks for having me, guys.
I don't want to say goodbye to say because he did really well in the tournament. Like, he's new. You're both new, but you won one game. You won one game, and you did very well on the other ones. LV Creed is not someone that you mess around with, so I can understand like losing to Creed, but you did really well, and thank you for all your races, Paul.
I like to think all 3 of the races I ran were actually very exciting because they were, apparently.
All right, so without further ado, I think it's time for us to just wrap things up here. So, as for future matches, right now we don't have any more matches scheduled for the time being, but we do have some matches in the group phases that are still in the works. Hopefully, we get those up and running as soon as possible so we can get to our final bracket stages eventually. But in the meanwhile, keep your eye on Speed Gaming, check the Speed Gaming schedule and to see what's coming up as far as the Mega Man 2 randomizer tournaments coming up. Of course, follow our runners. Thank you, Vin and Siberian Bull, for giving us a good race, giving us a good show. Of course, thank you, Charlie Boy, for organizing the tournament. Duckfist for making the randomizer. Speed Gaming, of course, say that again, for allowing us a venue to showcase our game, SRL, for being a place where we can actually keep our races time, so on and so forth. Of course, Prodigy, my wonderful co-commentator, for helping me commentate, of course.
No worries. I want to take like 5 seconds to thank XRTech as our tracking guy. We usually forget the trackers, but they're very important. So thank you, XRTech, for stepping up.
I was just about to get that point, but you did my work for me. That's one less thing I got to worry about. But no, seriously, thanks XR for doing the tracking. But that's gonna be it for us, folks. Until the next randomizer race is scheduled, we'll see you all later. So have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night.